Hey everybody, just guys Viking here, and I'm doing another video on DC. Okay, we're going to talk about Convergence. Now, for those that don't know, Convergence is basically a story that tells us, the fans of DC, what happens when worlds die. So basically, the worlds that died in Cross Infinite Earth, Zero Hour, Infinite Crisis, Flashpoint, and so on, their universes didn't die. They were taken away out of the timeline and placed on a planet, which is now following Brainiac's rule, and it's trying to make them force each other to fight each other, and so it's the strongest universe. Now, I love and hate this. I love it because I can see it's back, the pre-52, the one I grew up with, the one I love. I can continue the story from the last ones I read, and it works fine. I mean, I want to go back. I can now feel accomplished. No, not accomplished. I can now feel a sense of enjoyment when I read the old ones because I know it doesn't get destroyed. I know that it still exists. The only downside is, at the end of it all, these guys could die, and this could be the last goodbye, a last hurrah for them, and I don't want that. However, some good news is, it has been said by, I think, either Dan Didio, I can't say his name properly, or Geoff Jones, that after Convergence, the slate of what stories you can tell is left open. For what I understand of that is, if you want to do a pre-crisis New 52, a pre-crisis Superman, you can, and if you want to do a New 52 Superman, you can. Now, this scares me a bit because it means that it might just be like, well, goodbye continuity. You know, if you want continuity, read the old universes before we did Flashpoint and Convergence, or at least into the end of Convergence. Now, I don't know about you, but I love the continuity in DC. I love how everything fits. Although then again, I've actually spent a lot of time understanding how the Crisis works and the Infinite Crisis and all that. I can understand how all that works, but I just don't want them to die. I don't want them to get rid of that. What it could mean is at the end of this, at the end of Convergence, the pre-52 and other multiversal still exist, and it could be like Marvel with the Ultimates. It's just like, if you want the New 52 universe, you can still have the New 52 universe, but if you want pre-52 universe, bam, you've got it. Here you go. I'm hoping that's what they're doing, or along the lines of, if you want this universe, here you go. It's like Multiversity. Bam, we got 52 universes. One's pre-Crisis on Infinite Earths, one's post, one's pre-Zero Hour, one's post, which would be the pre-52. You want New 52. Here it is. I hope that's what they're going for. But in the end, we will not know until the end of Convergence. But on the idea of Convergence, it is amazing. Reading all these characters that were long forgotten in a way, it's just breathtakingly fun. All these stories that never got wound up and stopped, they're back, and a lot of them have references to the before story, which takes place a year. So the last story that you saw these characters in, I'm mainly doing pre-52 because that was the last big universe. The last story that you saw them in, this goes a year from that ending of that story. So I would say, I think in one of the Justice Leagues, one of the girls was pregnant. I don't remember what happened, but she might have gone like, she goes in labour, and then at the start of the Justice League in Convergence, one of the girls, which I think is Johnny Quick's daughter, she's giving birth. Now I don't know if before that, before New 52, that she was in labour, but from what I hear, it was fairly close. I really should check that out. Unfortunately, it's hard where I'm from to get a lot of these pre-52 stuff. It's all New 52. I hate it. But it's back. A lot of it's back. And if you don't like the pre-52, you've got yourself 1980s Teen Titans by Mark Wolfman, I think it is, and they're amazing. They're out there, and it's just great to have all these people come back and create their works of art. Because what I understand, in New 52, the Teen Titans was pretty bad, and I love the Teen Titans, and I'm just happy that we can get the old Teen Titans back. You know, no, even though I did like Red Hood and the Outlaws, there's no super sexualized Starfire. You know, Red Hood's not, well, Red Hood actually wasn't much of a dickhead in the New 52 version, so that's alright. And Arsenal, well, I think I might have liked him pre-52 with the whole losing his daughter and all that, which actually comes up in the Convergence issue. I think it was called Teen Titans or it was called Titans, one of them. But a lot of people have issues with one issue in particular. So far when I'm making this video, we've got the first week Convergence 1, and then second week Convergence 2, and then we had Convergence 0. So we've got about 3 issues technically of the main Convergence, and I think that goes for 8 issues. And then we've got the side ones, and the side ones are amazing. But this is the main one people hated. In the second Convergence, Bruce Wayne meets Thomas Wayne, which I believe is the post Flashpoint Thomas Wayne, the one that was in Flashpoint, I think, but then somehow he didn't die and all that. Yeah, I haven't kept that with the New 52 really. I have kept that was not Scott Snyder's work, and Wonder Woman's and a bit of Justice League. Amazing, by the way. Except for the Justice League, that was a bit. No Martian Manhunter. Terrible. But I'm looking at the page right now, and what happens is Thomas and Bruce stare at each other. And you have lines like a wounded father, a wounded son, and they just stare at each other. And then next thing you know, bam, next page, something completely different. Now, here's what I like about this. A lot of people complain that you don't get to see the interaction that you want. You don't get to see them hug, cry, talk about. You see them stern, looking at each other. Now, I like this for one reason. It says in this that they talk about something that we do not know of. Now, later on, to me this is clever writing, but that's just my opinion, is later on, they could come back to this. They could come back and show you what they talked about, and you could see all that what you wanted to see. Them hugging, them crying, all of that. Or, what the author may have done, is if this isn't shown in either a offshoot that ties in, either a tie-in offshoot or a, just tie-in, either a tie-in or another issue of the main Convergence line. You can use your imagination, and I love this, you can use your imagination and see how they acted. Because you only see for one frame and they're staring at each other. That could be for 2-3 seconds before they hug each other and they start, you know, the emotions that you want to see. This is where you get your imagination to fill in, to show you how you want it to be. How do you want Thomas and Bruce Wayne to see each other? They may be from another universe, but how do you want it to go? And what's good is they give you before and they give you an after. So you know, so afterwards you can tell they've talked. They've talked about what happened, and they're interested. It even says, Thomas says, "You've grown into a hell of a man, Bruce. If your father was anything like me, he'd be very proud." I like this for one reason. They understand that they're not the Thomas and Bruce Wayne, but they're not the Thomas and Bruce Wayne of their respective universes. But they're as close as you're gonna get, really. And I love that. I love that. They know, yet they want more. And that's when your imagination can come in and fill it in and be like, wow, this is how I want it. And that's what I like. But not many people like that. Unfortunately, not many people like to think and fill in the blanks. They need someone to say, this is how the blanks went. Which is fair enough. But to me, if they give you a before and an ending, and they give you the chance to take and create that middle, that's thumbs up from me. And the end shot with him just... You can just see from the end shot, which I have up. I might superimpose this end shot for the video, which I probably will actually. Is he just looks so dead. Batman Bruce just looks so dead, yet I feel like he's dead, but he's happy. He's happy that he saw his father one last time. Because I think in the end they know that they could die in this, and that's it. That's all of them. And that's what I love about Convergence, and that's why I want more Convergence. But it depends. It's also good, but it depends on what you want in Convergence. You're not going to get everything you want in Convergence, and you might see people die that you do not want to die. That scares me. But that might be near the end. Hopefully it's near the end. So far they've got one shots, I think, for the first issues, and there's 2 shots. There's 1 shots. First week is pre-52, and I think then after that it's pre-Zero Hour, and then after that it's pre-Crisis Infinite Earth. So each one of those will have an issue 1, and then I believe an issue 2. Now I don't know if the issue 2 came out this week as well. I'm still looking around on that. But some issues that I liked was the Superman one, where him and Lois are having a child. The question was really good.